have strong feelings of mistrust against a particular government entity, as I do, and still apply logic, you don't have to be a former soldier, former intelligence operator, former protective security professional at the global level, as I was, and still apply basic logic. If it was a professional, would have he almost have missed? It hit just here, he almost missed. If it was a professional, would have he chosen an old Mauser as the weapon? If it was a professional, perhaps he would have used a suppressor, of course. If it was a professional, he wouldn't have worn contrasting clothing. He wore black clothing on a white rooftop. If he was a professional, he wouldn't have stood up as soon as he took the shot to silhouette himself. Now, a lot of people were talking about the exfil plan and the fact that that looked professional. I thought the same. There's a video now of this fancy exfil plan. He was panicking and he effectively fell off the roof. That's not a professional. He ditched the weapon. Within an hour or two, it was found, and it had LGTV slogans written on it. It's not what professionals do. It is a domestic extremist. It's very obvious. The shot was not that difficult. The exfil planning wasn't that exotic. He escaped from, what, 6 police officers on the scene, local police officers, as 3,000 people were running away from the scene. And also on the geopolitical level, any covert operation like that, in theory, that people are trying to say this is a covert op, but it's not, requires huge amounts of planning and huge amounts of approvals. There's a risk versus reward calculus that governments take. You know, covert ops are a form of statecraft at the end of the day, and the gain is not there. The risk is too high. You're going to go and shoot one of Trump's friends, a US citizen in the US, for no real gain? Look, I have strong feelings about the genocide too. I have very strong feelings about the things that Kirk used to say about Islam. I disagree strongly, but I can still apply basic logic, and so can you. Log off from social media, team, and use your brain. Everyone's hive-minding on social media. And I'm sorry, I don't know anything about playing the piano or being a ballet dancer. Why would I go and pretend to be an expert about these things? How about you slow down, log off from social media, and just wait for the evidence to come out. Yes, it is possible that this was a local patsy or an asset who was recruited and then used to do a violent act. That's how covert ops usually go. Very rarely is it a foreign government operator himself in a situation like this pulling the trigger. They recruit and handle a local asset. That is possible, but it's very unlikely. And the likely outcome, which will be shown over the next 24 to 48 hours, it's going to be shown, is that this was a domestic extremist and what's known as a lone wolf, or more realistically, a loon wolf, a loony, crazy person. When she is found, you can all chill out on your self-appointed expert status. Log off from social media and apply basic logic. You're welcome.